Hi, I'm JoBe Cerny of the Highland Park Historical Society, and today we're making a movie.
In Highland Park? You must be lost. We're closer to the Highwood Bowl than the Hollywood Bowl. Oh, grow up.
Well, while Highland Park isn't Hollywood, we're closer than you might think. The Highland Park Historical Society stands as a beacon of our community, collecting and cataloging information about our city's history. Inside this unassuming little building, a staff of nearly 1,000 people work day and night, preserving our city's past. Come on, let's go inside and take a look. Hello. Everyone must be out gathering artifacts for the museum. Oh, hello? Hello? Is anybody here?
Ricky, you're home!
Lucy? What are you doing here? You never made a movie in Highland Park.
No, but I wanted to.
Well, Lucy never made a movie in Highland Park, but Robert Redford did, Matthew Broderick did, Tom Cruise did. In fact, Hollywood has visited Highland Park over a dozen times. Recently, one of my minions of researchers here at the Highland Park Historical Society recently made a startling discovery. Do you know how many miles it is from Highland Park to Hollywood?
2,036 miles.
Lucy, go back into the archives. Good historical help is so hard to find. Anyway, do you know why the number 2036 is significant? Believe it or not, this is the 2036th project of the Highland Park Historical Society. So, we are naming this project Hollywood in Highland Park. And rest assured, it is being shot in Histovision. For most Highland Parkers, this theater is Highland Park's primary connection to Hollywood. The building permit for it was issued on December 9th, 1924. The name of the owner was William Pearl of Oakwood Avenue in Highland Park. The estimate to build the moving picture theater was $90,000. Some home theaters cost more than that these days. The building permit was $301. I guess an extra dollar meant a lot in those days. Now, it won't buy popcorn. The theater was named the Algren, and it opened on September 24th, 1925. The newspaper said the theater was without peer on the North Shore, constructed entirely of brick, steel, and concrete, and absolutely fireproof with every possible precaution taken to avert danger to its patrons. It was a one-screen theater that seated 1,200. The theater even had a great golden-voiced baritone organ. There was no finer or larger organ in any theater in the country except the one in the Chicago Theater, which had one additional pipe called an English horn. December 2nd, 1928 was an exciting day for Hollywood and Highland Park. The Algren was the first North Shore theater to install the Vitaphone movie tone and talking picture equipment so that the Melody of Love could become the first talking picture to play in Highland Park. In case you're wondering, that movie still has not come out on DVD. Attending a movie in the 1920s was considered to be a major social event. If you've ever been in the Highland Park Theater, you will notice the remnants of box seats. Sitting in those box seats was considered to be a very, very special thing. You had to make reservations to sit in them. It was considered so prestigious that the newspaper actually printed who the box seat ticket holders were for each event, because everyone in town had to know who saw what. The Alcyon endured for nearly 40 years, but in 1965, the decision was made to renovate and modernize the Alcyon. A contest was held to rename the theater, and a cash prize was offered for the winning name. Of the 500 entries, 11 people came up with the identical winning name. It was to be called the Highland Park Theater. Oh, it was a brilliant idea, and each of the winners walked away with identical amounts of $18.18 for their clever, thoughtful, and explicit naming. So, in 1965, the current exterior facing was erected, and the interior of the theater was remodeled. The theater operated as a 1,200-seat single-screen theater until 1986, when it was remodeled again into the current multi-screen format. Certainly, the Highland Park Theater has been an important link to Hollywood. But no movie about Hollywood and Highland Park would be complete without some words from Highland Park's resident movie expert, Ray Algren.
Can we talk here? I am so verklempt meeting you.
I'm verklumpter.
For shizzle my nizzle. I am feeling this Oscar night deja vu. Can we compare jewelry? Let me see that.
No.
So, what is your favorite movie that was shot in Highland Park?
Risky Business.
And why?
I enjoyed the use of the theater and actually the alley.
And the alley. Of all the people who have come to this theater to see the movies on the screen, have any movie stars ever come in this theater?
Oh, Harold Ramis.
Really? By the way, are those rumors true about you and J-Lo?
Absolutely.
Ordinary People was the first really big film shot in Highland Park, and the filming drew really large crowds of Highland Parkers. It was 1979, and Mary Tyler Moore and Robert Redford were the stars everyone wanted to see.
This is Joan in front of the Ordinary People house. Oh, cars were lined up for blocks as hundreds of fans tried to sneak a peek at the stars working in and around this house. There were huge filming trucks and a commissary truck making food and dressing trailers and the police holding back the crowds. It caused almost as much excitement as the best Highland Park bar mitzvahs.
One of the big newspaper stories about Ordinary People headlined, "Ordinary People filming means dollars for Highland Park economy." Hollywood is known for big spenders. During filming in downtown, merchants reported a 30 to 50% increase in sales. Each film has added to our community's economy and added prestige and visibility to our city. Once Hollywood discovered what a great location site Highland Park could be, well, film companies returned several more times. In 1980, the notable CBS television film Skokie was filmed here in the Highland Park City Council chambers. It was about the proposed Nazi march in Skokie in 1978. Eli Wallach played the Skokie Corporation Council, and Danny Kaye played a survivor of the Nazi concentration camps that resided in Skokie. The real appellate court appeal took place in a Chicago courtroom, but our city's council chambers were deemed better for filming. When you take a look around the room, it's easy to see why this location proved to be such a good choice. There is a historic quality look to Highland Park that makes it attractive to Hollywood. One of the earliest films shot in Highland Park was a film called Lucas. Lucas was a very sweet Hollywood story about a class nerd who eventually gained acceptance. In the film, Lucas cut the lawn at this house. Now, You know, the film was a total fantasy because it was about a neighborhood kid who cut grass. A Highland Park High School graduate, David Seltzer, wrote the film. Risky Business was a real breakthrough part for Hollywood newcomer Tom Cruise. Again, the script was written by a former Highland Parker, Paul Brickman. I met Paul Brickman during the shooting of Risky Business, and he said that Shelton's was one of his favorite places as a Highland Park student.
Do you think they could use a waitress?
No. Paul Brickman used Shelton's as a location in Risky Business. This is the house that Joel Goodson lived in the film Risky Business. Location scouts looked at nearly 150 different homes on the North Shore before finally settling on this one. Why? They love the look of the street.
Excuse me, is this the house that Tom Cruise lives in?
Well, that was just in the movie Risky Business.
I wanted to do an interview.
What were you going to ask him? Well, no wonder Tom Cruise hates reporters. You know, one of the most famous scenes in Risky Business was the scene where Tom Cruise dances in his undershorts. In case you're wondering, is this the actual pair of undershorts that Tom Cruise wore in the movie Risky Business? The answer is no. This is just a pair of prop shorts that we bought for this movie, and they will be available later in the silent auction. However, please rest assured that if the actual shorts that Tom Cruise wore in that movie ever do come up on sale, we have people sitting at the computers watching eBay 365 days a year just waiting for that moment to happen, and the Historical Society will win that auction. And then we will have those shorts bronzed and put on display at the Highland Park Historical Society, which is always working for you. Speaking of famous Highland Parkers, Hollywood, and underwear, the man who lives in this house starred in Space Jam, and he's appeared on television many times in both basketball shorts and undershorts. Highland Parkers started watching John Hughes movies on this screen nearly 3 decades ago. John, a longtime resident of the North Shore, used Highland Park locations in 16 Candles, Weird Science, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and Home Alone. 16 Candles was a story about the events surrounding a girl's 16th birthday. Molly Ringwald played the girl.
Oh, you know, I could have played that part.
Well, maybe when you were 16. Anyway, this house on the lake was used for the big party scene in the movie. John Hughes loved to shoot on the North Shore because of its atmosphere of wealth and elegance. Wealth and elegance are good words to describe Highland Park. Maybe that's why we have so many unusual cars driving around town. In fact, unusual cars like this are provided to Hollywood production companies by Highland Parker Joe Boards. One of the most famous scenes in Highland Park movie history involves this garage and a bright red Ferrari convertible in John Hughes' Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Audiences gasped when the car went through the window and into the ravines.
I was on my deck sitting in my hot tub when the car flew into the air and then crashed. I plotzed right in my hot tub. In 2004, Harold Ramis literally brought Hollywood to Highland Park. His film Ice Harvest was supposed to be filmed in Toronto, but Harold insisted that it be filmed in Illinois. Ice Harvest stars John Cusack and Billy Bob Thornton and is described as a wild ride brimming with lust and larceny and lethal behavior. Sounds like Highland Park to me.
The road from Hollywood to Highland Park is not a one-way street. Highland Park High School has spawned many Highland Park Hollywood giants who have gone on to fabulous film and television careers. The world-famous Steppenwolf Theater Company was formed as an independent theater company operated by students and graduates of Highland Park High School. Gary Sinise starred in the first production, Miss Reardon Drinks a Little, here at the Nightingale. 2 years and 6 successful productions later, Steppenwolf moved into its own space here at Immaculate Conception School Auditorium, an 88-seat house. Opening night drew 35 patrons, and they paid $3 a ticket to see Harold Pinter's The Lover with Jeff Perry and Laurie Metcalf, and Malfi's Birdbath starring Nancy Evans and John Malkovich. Not a bad deal for $3, huh? Well, all in all, Steppenwolf did 20 plays in Highland Park before moving to Chicago in 1979. So, over the years, Highland Park has had some pretty significant ties to Hollywood. And here are some other Highland Parkers in the motion picture industry. William Goldman, writer of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, All the President's Men, Harper, Stepford Wives, Princess Bride, Marathon Man, and Misery. Linda Kimbrough, Spartan, State and Maine, Straight Talk, Homicide, Door to Door, the Chicago Shakespeare Company, Goodman Theater, and also, she's the voice of WBBM. Mike Nussbaum, Men in Black, House of Games, Fatal Attraction, Field of Dreams, Harry and Tano. Ellie Wiengardt, League of Their Own, Save the Last Dance, Lucas, Bad Meat, an early edition. JoBe Cerny, Somewhere in Time, My Best Friend's Wedding, Road to Perdition, Legally Blonde 2, Mo Money, Dreamer, Prelude to a Kiss. Charles Kimbrough, who was a regular for 10 seasons on Murphy Brown. James Goldman, screenwriter, The Lion in Winter, Nicholas and Alexandra, They Might Be Giants, White Knights, Robin and